It's a great question from a mom about a very common problem. Dear Dr. Meg, I have three children, a 12-year-old daughter and two twin boys. My daughter's very gender aware. My husband and I have always taught the kids to be accepting of all people and their preferences. I've asked my daughter if she is gay, to which she said no, but she likes boy clothes like suits and ties. I bought her lots of button down shirts that are not too girly, but she's still a bit obsessed with suits, sorry, sorry. But she's still a bit obsessed with suits, bow ties, and ties. I'd appreciate some insight on how to handle this stage. Well, I thank you so much for writing in. A 12-year-old girl, 11-year-old girl, sorry, I'm so grateful that you wrote in because this is a very common issue that parents encounter and it really can throw them for a loop. First of all, many girls from the time they're 11, 12, 13, 14, they look at boys and they go, "Wait a minute. You can do things I can't do. You can wear clothes I can't wear. What would it be like to be you?" And they decide they want to experiment with living like and feeling like they're a boy. So they put on boys' clothes and they cut their hair like boys and they act like boys. And this is really very common. 85 to 90% of those kids or higher are going through a phase where they're just experimenting what it's like to be the other gender. And unfortunately, 10, 15, 20 years ago, people didn't think about this. The kids would just go through it. They'd wear cowboy clothes or they'd wear army clothes and camouflage, or boys might even try on dresses and play with dolls at home. And nobody thought about it because it's a normal phase the kids go through. Now, however, with the attention given to gender dysphoria and transitioning kids, parents are much more aware that this could be a more serious life changing issue. I would put, um, but I want to encourage you to treat this as though your daughter is going through a very healthy, normal stage. Let her wear suits, bow ties, and ties. Let her cut her hair short. Let her uh, experiment with boy activities, sports if she wants, or games if she wants. In other words, let her go. She'll work this out on her own. It may take a year, maybe a year and a half, and then it's going to be over. My own daughter went through this, and when she was 12, she talked her dad into cutting her hair at the barber, and she wore camouflage. And now she's grown up, and she is probably the daughter who's the most into fashion. And so don't worry about it. Ride with it. Don't take it seriously. And most certainly, don't overthink it. If you get worried and start talking to your daughter about the fact that she really may be a boy, you're going to get her hung up on things that aren't necessarily real. You don't want her to go down that path. So I almost guarantee you she's going to get through this phase all um, sorry, and I can almost guarantee you she's going to get through this stage sooner than you think. Bow ties and ties. Kind of funny. All right. Um, okay, we'll do this one. It's about for grandmothers. Here's a question from a grandmother, and I personally appreciate this. And I personally appreciate, sorry. The next question is from a grandmother, and I personally appreciate questions like this because I'm a grandmother myself, and it's really a lot harder than you think it is, you young parents out there. Dear Dr. Meg, I'm a grandmother of four granddaughters. I see my three teen granddaughters twice a week because we're in Florida for most of the year. Our son has three teens. our son with the three, sorry, our son with the three teens gets very, very angry if I try to help the kids figure out problems. He blows up and says I'm interfering. Honestly, I don't like his parenting skills, and they do not give their kids any guidance. Sorry. Honestly, I don't like he and his wife's parenting skills. They don't give their kids guidance. And I think that, sorry. Honestly, I don't like he and his wife's parenting skills. They do not give their kids guidance. Both mother and dad do not go to teacher conferences. And during COVID, they didn't even require their kids to do any schoolwork. Our daughter-in-law is a person who talks very little. I can never carry on a conversation with her. She loves to take off and do her own thing during the day. The house is a total wreck with everything all over the floor. She does not have any friends. The living room looks like a workroom. I do not say anything about their parenting, but I do talk to the girls about life. As a child, we involved our son in activities. We went to church, Sunday school, and then not until ninth grade did they do any sports that was in football. Sorry, I'll start that one again. I do not say anything to my son and his wife about parenting, but I do talk to the daughters about life in general. I always encourage them to go outside and okay, we'll stop here. I don't say anything to my son and his wife about parenting because I know I'm going to get a lot of pushback. I am very concerned because their life is chaotic and their kids are running all over them. What would you suggest I do? Should I talk to our son and tell him that I made a lot of mistakes when he was growing up and I don't want to interfere with his parenting? He blows up at me a lot and whenever I mention anything, it goes nowhere good. Well, this is a tough situation and we're dealing with a lot of common and not so common grandparenting issues. First of all, as a grandparent, we have to walk very, very carefully. Our grandkids are not our children. They're our kids' children. So we need to really honor a lot of boundaries. There are a lot of things that we see going on in our kids and grandkids' lives that we may not approve of, that we don't like, and that we'd rather see change. But here's the problem. You have already experienced that when you talk to your son about what is gone in the house, that his kids don't need to go to school, that they can make their own decisions, and that he and his wife get very angry at you. It talking to him really doesn't. Sorry, let me start that again. As a grandparent myself, I really understand what you're going through. But here's the deal that we grandparents need to grapple with, and that is that our grandchildren are not our children. They're our kids' children. And we have to honor boundaries that their parents set up. You have already experienced that when you talk to your son about his parenting and what's going on in the house, he blows up at you and doesn't take it very well. So you need to back off. Telling him about the things that he's doing that are wrong are only going to make him angrier, and he ultimately could keep the kids from seeing you, and that's not something that you want. So I would recommend that you stay involved in your grandkids' lives. Talk to them about good things, about life. Don't talk to them about their parents. Don't put their parents down. Don't get them to question their parents' parenting. If they have issues or problems with their parents and the way they parent, they will come to you and ask you questions about it. They'll come to you with their concerns. You just don't want to be responsible for planting any ideas in their minds, because I guarantee you it's going to get back to their parents, and then their parents are going to want to cut you off. Um, it's also very important, even though you disagree with your son and your daughter-in-law, that you show them respect. You show them respect as You show them respect as your grandchildren's parent. What in any time that you can say something encouraging to them, say it. If you ever want your son or daughter, if you ever want your son and daughter-in-law to listen to any advice you would have, you have to win their trust and you have to get them to believe that you think they're good parents. You can't come out of the chute angry because their life is chaos and tell them how to shape up. It would never work. First, you need to talk to them and tell them all the good things that they're doing as parents. If, on the other hand, you are concerned that something really bad is going on in the home, that the kids are being harmed, that they're doing harmful things to their kids, the kids are doing harmful things to one another, then you need to intervene in a very tactful but firm way. You need to go, um, okay, sorry. If there is cause in the future, no, if there is any cause for you to be alarmed that serious harm is going on inside the home, either the parents are harming the kids, or the kids are harming the parents, or the kids are hurting the kids in a very serious manner, then you need to intervene. You need to go to Child Protective Service. That's a hard thing as a grandparent to do, but your job is to first and foremost protect those kids from any harm. Here's the good news for you, though, and I really want to stress this. If you can keep your wits about you, if you can exercise some restraint and self control and let the parents live their lives as they're doing with their kids, there will be some harm done to the kids, yes. But if it's not serious harm right now, you need to back away. As the kids get older, you can let them know that you are willing to talk to them about life, that they will start to listen to you about good advice that you have for them separate from their parents. You can talk to them about schooling and education and the importance of getting a good job. You can encourage them to be strong, capable people. You can teach them how to be more empathetic, how to serve other people. In other words, you can have a big influence on your grandkids once they get older. So for the 18 years that they're in the home with your parents and you can't get through to them, be encouraged that once they get older, you can have some great conversations with them and you can have a very positive impact on their lives.